Reid. She's a beautiful soul. She's a best friend. She's a daughter, a niece, a partner, a loving pet parent, and a loyal human. She's honest, brave, and one hell of a dancer, proven by her years as a choreographer. She's sexy, empathetic, and stable. If Amber were to write an autobiography, once she realized that it's not a book about cars, that's what she would say about herself. She would place herself on a pedestal of greatness. She would rave about her kindness and generosities toward those beneath her, undoubtedly driven by her pure benevolence. But that's the unsubstantiated life of Amber Reid, the life she talks about but can't prove, the life she brags about that's completely unevidenced. In fact, throughout roughly 13 years, many of us have seen numerous parts of Amber's life, but the realities never match up to her claims. Amber was born in Key West, Florida to Christine Reid on December 27th of 1990. Amber claims she was quote unquote a drug baby and that she was born addicted to drugs. But her aunt, who housed and supported her mother at least during part of her pregnancy and was with her mother when Amber was born, says that Amber was not a drug baby and was not born addicted to drugs. In fact, I quickly looked up Florida law concerning babies born addicted to drugs, and here's what I found, with new laws that were enacted beginning in 1987. It's interesting, then, that Amber wasn't immediately taken into the state's custody, as Florida law stated she would have been, because all mothers who gave birth at any medical facility were immediately given a drug test, and HRS would be called the moment any mother tested positive for drugs. So the likelihood that Amber slipped through the cracks and was born a drug addict, or that Christine was using, at least during those months leading up to her giving birth to Amber, is simply unsubstantiated. Amber has spent years telling us about her childhood, from being on the soccer team where she claims she got to travel and play for the blue team,
me during the days where I had soccer, and it was awesome. I remember we were the blue team.
to being part of a dance team. Amber has posted a multitude of videos over the years where she has framed herself as a valuable member of society, helping to feed the poor, handing out care packages for the needy, and even donating her gently used cookware to those who were in need. But these behaviors started long before Amber became a saint. These acts of good have been long-standing, supposedly. Let's take a quick look back at some of the claims Amber made which painted her as an integral part of the team or an important member of society. Let us begin with her leadership role as the choreographer for a dance group she said was called Space. According to Amber, she was the one who developed the dances the team would perform, and because of her dancing abilities, the team always won first or second place.
In a dance group. It was called Space and SPACE, but it all stood for something which I'm not remembering at the moment. And I would do dances in front of gigantic crowds. A dance group, I do talent shows, I choreograph them.
But is this claim substantiated? I've personally never seen anyone from that group come forward to say that Amber danced with or for that group, or that she was in any way part of the dance group, and her being a choreographer or having any input into the dances to be performed was never mentioned. I've only seen one comment by an anonymous person who claimed to have been part of that dance group who said she knew Amber back in those days, and that Amber chose to sit on the sidelines. Amber was seemingly shy, maybe came across as unapproachable due to her attitude or behaviors, but she didn't show a real interest in being part of the team based on what this one dance member revealed. In fact, I think it begs to question why Amber didn't claim she was simply part of the dance group. Why did she have to go so far with this fantasy to say that she was the group? Because essentially, it's what she claimed. She was the excellent dancer who thought it might become her career one day. She was the choreographer in charge of developing dances that could be performed for audiences and judges for prizing or bragging rights if won. And she was the reason the team won first or second place every single time. So, when looking back, it seems that the life Amber claimed to live and the reality of the life she was living that she gave a glimpse into, likely during a brief moment of retrospection, were in fact two different lives. And although Amber likes to claim that two things can happen in tandem, it's unlikely that she was the smelly, bullied, obese kid in special ed who was always made fun of, and concurrently the popular dancing queen leading her team to the first prize in the dance-off. I think what we're seeing again is an internal conflict where Amber's fantasy life and Amber's reality collided.
What the fuck is that?
Now, I'm not criticizing fantasies. We all have them. We may fantasize to be a wonderful spouse or parent. Or we may fantasize of one day taking our dream to the next level and opening a business we've always wanted to run. But what Amber does isn't simply to fantasize. For most, our fantasies are things we try to manifest through manual labor, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, as it's called. We have dreams and we create attainable goals. Then we approach each day with the mission and understanding of what we want to achieve, and along the way, we learn how to make it happen. Amber's fantasies came after the fact, though. She rarely talks about any dreams or goals that she wants to complete in the future. Amber's fantasies are more of a rewriting of her past, like taking a book that has already been published, a book that hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, have already read, then trying to make edits to the one copy of that book that she has at home.
How can I say no when this is so life?
It's like Amber gets on camera and opens that book with ink pens scribbling out the reality and these tiny fantasy notes written off to the side, hoping to revise the truth. And even more so, hoping she can manipulate some people into believing it. Amber's account of her life, much, if not most of it, at least the part she shares online, is not only unsubstantiated, but it's outright challenged and at times debunked by those who know her in real life. Amber's biggest enemy to achieving her fantasies is simply this: truth. Amber lives in a make-believe world inside her own mind, perhaps due to unresolved traumas. She could resolve the hurt and disappointment she's survived, but instead, Amber crafts this imaginary fairy tale that possibly somehow becomes real to her over time, but in the world of absolute that we live in, is still nothing more than an unsubstantiated claim intended to make Amber look better without needing to put forth any efforts to actually become better.
And I have realized I'm so much better than majority of you.
In the 90s, we'd call people who did this losers, trash, weirdos, and some other terms not suitable or necessary for the context of this video. But certainly people who lied for fame, glory, money, or attention were frowned upon. We admired the underdog. I suppose in many ways, at least within my own culture, we admired the undertaking as much as we did the triumphant outcome, because it says a lot to have so much stacked against you, but to still have the determination, motivation, drive, and spirit to go for something that you want so badly. I don't know anyone who wouldn't respect that person or cheer that person on. And this includes Amber. Had Amber just been truthful about her past and truthful about where she wanted her future to lead her, everyone would have supported her. Amber, however, wants applause for feats she never faced, for battles she never fought, and for prestige she never earned. I call it entitlement. To claim things that don't belong to you. I think it takes too much away from others who have sincere struggles and adversities they survived when people like Amber make false claims to prizes they never won. Amber also made an unsubstantiated claim that she has an IQ of around 140 or above. This may seem petty for me to bring up, but give me a chance to explain why I have. Amber has made it clear that, among many other false claims, she wants to be seen as highly and exceptionally intelligent. But on the flip side, if she does something ignorant, she immediately says, "I'm dumb," or that the BPD made her do it. Does anyone remember when she was talking about Romeo and Juliet on one of her live streams? She was trying to sound like Professor Lynn telling us the backstory of the book that she had read. When Amber was telling us about Romeo and Juliet, she literally explained it verbatim of the explanation that is on Google. But she wanted for us to think it was her own intellect that led her to that conclusion. Amber wants the glory and applause of being the expert on all things without ever having to learn about anything. Her claims of intelligence are simply disproved by her repeated, ongoing bad choices, all while knowing the outcome, or while she should know the outcome, then wanting pity when that consequence slaps her in the face.
Was undiagnosed with BPD.
Amber is a lifelong victim. I had to pause here and really think about it because Amber is not only a victim, she is a self-constructed willing victim. She loves victimhood. It absolves her in her mind of guilt or accountability. Then its friend, Shameless, writes and signs her YouTube checks. It could be one of her job titles at this point, along with con artist, manipulator, and liar. But Amber's fake life doesn't stop with her claims about her childhood. Her unsubstantiated world extended into her intimate relationships, where she blamed one girlfriend's small animals for binge eating hundreds of dollars of human food that had been put away in cabinets or on high surfaces, to another relationship where she had claimed to be majoring in a specific career field in college, all while knowing she merely took a couple classes for maybe a semester. A school that, at a later date, got shut down because it wasn't even accredited and couldn't offer degrees, only offered certificates of completion. To another relationship where she used fake health scares, false stories, and mental health issues, untreated of course, to dupe her partners into caving to her every demand. By this point, I think Amber was well versed in the fantasy script she had written for herself, all about her past, her successes, her glory, and her trauma. But even still, I don't feel like she fooled her ex-partners for long. I believe that Amber is the type of person who will lie in front of millions, knowing that only 1,000 or so will believe her, but she feels so validated within her make-believe world when those few support her that it fuels her to continue her quest to rewrite her history. Her live streams, where she talks about her past, should come with a disclaimer that says fiction, in my opinion, because there's no evidence to back up most of her claims, and even if she does have some tiny receipts, she hides the source and context of those receipts, so her idea of transparency is smoke and mirrors. This brings us to the next area of Amber's fantasy world, the diagnosed mental health issues. Over the years, we've had Amber tell us that she has been diagnosed with certain mental health issues only to later be told that the disorder was suspected and not actually diagnosed, to even being told she had been diagnosed with BED, which she used to excuse her lack of weight loss when she was allegedly attempting to qualify for weight loss surgery, to then finding out that those with BED do not qualify for weight loss surgery unless they can go an entire 12 months with zero binges, which at that point, Amber quickly sang the tune of, I don't actually have BED and I was never diagnosed with it. Amber's inconsistent stories are always consistent in one way, though. They are always changed to fit her narrative, no matter how badly it makes Amber look. Amber has done this with numerous physical and mental health disorders over the years, with the following being just a few she's claimed to have been diagnosed with: BED, OCD, OCPD, food addiction, bipolar disorder, CPTSD, anxiety, depression, ASMR, empathic abilities, trauma, suicidal ideologies, a dangling ankle, collapsed lung, kidney stones hanging out, cellulitis, cancer, COVID, an elevated D dimer that her physician guessed the cause of, excoriation disorder, and violent tendencies as a response to feeling mistreated, either through dissociating or exploding in uncontrollable rage.
My ex, I don't know if I can date ever again because I've just got so much trauma and PTSD and, coming out of that, I feel I'm ruined.
All normal symptoms of her claimed illnesses, of course. Imagine if Amber had all of the above, as she has claimed to have over the years. And I'm absolutely positive that I'm leaving some out. Should not be safe to walk the streets or to live where she wasn't being monitored. So let's look at the likelihood of what Amber might have based on what we've seen for more than a decade. Food addiction and BED both seem to be issues that Amber has, so I personally believe her on those. We've watched her eat for views and YouTube paychecks and also attention, but we've also watched her weight gain skyrocket from more than just what she's chosen to show us. These facts, coupled with her claiming to regularly indulge in late-night binges, leads me to believe that she probably does have food addiction and/or BED. What about the others, though? I think she may have some mental health issues, sure, but it's hard to imagine anxiety being one. She's the same woman who puts lingerie on her 600-pound body that she posts on TikTok, plus the non-stop thirst traps where she tries to look sexy, and the infamous crumble cookie pseudo-porn video that Amber said she was glad got released. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream highly anxious person, in my opinion. As for complex PTSD, maybe, and possibly even some of the others as well. But why does Amber claim to have these unlimited diagnoses but still refuses to get any treatment? I believe it's because the diagnoses, at least most of them, are not officially diagnosed by a licensed professional, and Amber self-diagnoses to release herself of culpability for her bad behaviors. Amber's reality is that she is a spoiled, entitled brat who treats others like trash and uses mental health as her scapegoat when she's called out.
I feel I'm ruined.
From picking verbal confrontations with others,
Every time I go live, they know they're about to get a check. They know they're about to get a check. Like, I pay for all their roofs. Love it. I miss non-members.
then claiming she dissociated after she couldn't otherwise defend her bad actions, to becoming physically violent and putting her hands on ex-girlfriends.
Mix up with like trauma and, I'm bipolar. I have, massive issues, anxiety, trauma. Something that I recently discovered that I've been going through, which is really weird and happened in the middle of therapy today, is like which I got called out again by my therapist, is I disassociate.
Amber says she is only reacting in a trauma response when those things happen. The reality is that Amber does what Amber allows herself to do. But being the villain or the perpetrator doesn't fit the victim narrative. So, enter the stage mental health excuses. Amber's only self-perceived ace in the hole. Amber has not just created a fairy tale personal life that she tries to live, but she has cultivated an entire brand off of these unsubstantiated claims. Her brand is based on unevidenced tripe that she gaslights some people into believing. It's how she survives. Her brand would instantly collapse if her paying critics would just stop paying her.
And thank you for your money, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Jess. Thank you. Bullshit, you're just a hater. Bye, but thank you for the $5.
At that point, I believe we'd see the self-titled mighty Amber Reid fall. Then she'd have no other choice than to go back to California, where she tells us she'd be famous and highly desired. Her fantasy world truly knows no bounds and has no shame. But I guess for now, we'll do what is only normal. Laugh at clowns, milk the cows, and slow down to gawk at the train wrecks.
No stained neck. I know that's not a lot of people's cup of tea. Oh my god, I have to burp. I merge and it sucks, don't it? I'm glad you like. Beauty's live! Oh my god. Bish. Please tell her to come to Kentucky because I think it's time. You look skinny today. I'm so skinny. I'm like 100 pounds. Oh my god, you guys. That clip of me doing that Burger King mukbang where my eyes went all weird. I am. Plot twist. That was a joke. I feel like I drank too much. No, I just get little scabberonis. Look how bad. Oh my god. Excoriation. Oh my god, I think I drank so much my hands are going numb. Be back in a hurry, of course. Love a fat joke. Should I drink more? Yes, I am single. Just kidding.
I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comments section below. I plan on putting together a larger video before too long. I'm trying to get my notes and thoughts together for that. I'm hoping that this is going to be like my first 1 to 1.5 hour video. We're going to see how it turns out, but it's going to take me a while to get that one together. I just wanted for you to all know that I am working on something right now. If you don't know me, I'm Birdie, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.